Cloak and Dagger, Cloak and Dagger. Hello and welcome to my review of Cloak and Dagger, Marvel's hit new show for Freeform. Actually, I don't know if it's a hit, but it should be because it's pretty dang good. So I'm Dan, I'm going to review the show. The two-part premiere was 2 episodes, and I have to say I was pretty surprised at how great this show was. I went in with like semi-low expectations because, I grew up with ABC Family, I've seen some Freeform stuff, and it's not the best quality usually, but it's lovable in its own specific way, but it's Freeform and it's ABC Family, and so I wasn't expecting, high-end stuff here, especially when I heard so much about the premise of this show being about the romance, and I was like, oh, it will probably be aimed at like a certain crowd, and it probably will be just very like heightened and soapy. The thing is, I actually thought it was pretty awesome. I was surprised at how good it was. I think that the 2 main actors are great. I think that the writing and the cinematography and the special effects all worked out very strongly. It felt fresh, it felt different. I loved how it focused on these 2 characters and was switching back and forth between them. I thought the editing was really nice. It's just a really solid show about some real human feeling characters and some real human problems. I think it did a great job of using slow pacing, of building up these characters, I like the starting with the flashback. I thought the kid actors were actually good. I think the way they set up the origin was very strong. And the fact that we just kind of are slowly easing into this world, into these characters, and we build them up as people, and they were interesting even before the powers came into the story. And I think that's really necessary with a superhero story. They need to work as humans before you can inject the heightened elements into it. And I think what really works well here is how they use this female character and this African-American character and really delve into the struggles of both. And they have, Olivia Holt's Tandy is dealing with an attempted rape and very pushy, sexist men. We have Aubrey Joseph's Tyrone dealing with a corrupt police department, dealing with racial tensions, and just the power of seeing his mother and how afraid she is that even if he does everything right, he won't be able to survive. I think they did a really strong job at showing the tensions that these groups have, and even showing things like having Tyrone's brother feeling sort of pressured by the other people in his group, I thought was really well done. Now, obviously, I'm a white guy. I don't know how well, as far as like dealing with stereotypes and things like that maybe these depictions were done. But from where I'm standing, it seemed like they were really delving into these things in a way that they wanted to show the truth behind it, and the seriousness behind what people have to deal with. I think that the turnaround where you have Tandy's character coming from this sort of privileged place, but now she is in some ways almost in even a worse place than Tyrone is, and having her become like a thief and addicted to pills, and her mom is awful and her dad is gone. I think that really helped. We were really able to get into the complexities of her character, and I really enjoy how anti-hero these characters are. That by the end of episode 2, we have Tyrone trying to, murder someone and get revenge on them. Obviously, everything I already said about Tandy and her addiction and everything like that. I was a little bit worried coming into the show, and when the show was first announced, that it would be a little sanitized on this network. And, maybe that's unfair of me. I don't know Freeform as well as some other people do. It's been a few years since I've really watched this channel intensely. I know they get into some more heavy stuff, but I knew it was like, oh, it's an ABC production. Olivia Holt was a Disney Channel star. I didn't know how deep they go into it, but I knew just vaguely about these comic books and the stories behind them. I am not a Cloak and Dagger fan. I don't have a ton of knowledge behind it, but I knew that there were some heavy themes and some dark stuff surrounding them. I'm excited to, potentially look into and research more about the differences between the show and the comics, but in some ways I like coming in not knowing that much. Like when I watched Flash or Daredevil or whatever, I kind of knew where they were heading with a lot of stuff because I knew, oh, that character name, he must become this person or that kind of thing. Whereas here, I'm kind of going in mostly blind, and I think that they've done a really good job of setting up mysteries with the Roxxon Corporation and who is this cop that killed Tyrone's brother. Also, I don't understand what's going on with all that weird trippy telepathic thing where they touch someone and like get into their dream state, brain, whatever that is. It's interesting. It adds a different layer to the show. I think that the visuals that they do for flashbacks and everything worked really well. The production values of, under the water and all that stuff I thought worked very strongly. And I like that it's more of a personal human story and not as much like, here's our bad guy setting up, blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, we have this like ominous corporation looming, but we're not getting right into that. We're taking our time, and I think that worked very, very well. That said, I am definitely glad that by the end of the episode 2, it does seem like we're going to officially have Tyrone and Tandy more directly interacting with each other, that, they're officially in each other's pathway. We had a little bit of that in the first episode, but if they had made it linger even longer into episode 3 or 4 before they really coincide with each other, I think it would have felt a little bit too stretched out. But as it is, it's a great way to like end the premiere of these 2 episodes and be like, okay, now you got a taste of who they were. Now let's see who they are together, and have them sort of delving into what happened. I'm excited to find out more about them. I'm excited to see more of their chemistry. We got like a little hint of that, but even then, we didn't really get to see who Tandy was with him, because she was sort of lying for most of it, and conning him. I think I really like Tandy, especially in this show. I think that Olivia Holt's doing a great job. I like seeing this sort of dark, sad story, and how she's tough and she's smart, and every time you think that she's doing one thing, she's doing something else. That they show her vulnerability, like in scenes like in the bathroom, but then at the same time, she's still using it to con people. I thought that was great. And then, of course, like, it's a really big, interesting, again, anti-hero character moment that she leaves this Liam guy and just leaves him behind. He cares about her so much, she abandons him, and even when he's going to go to jail because of her, she's still going to keep, trucking forward. And I thought that was an intense moment, and not one that you'd usually see in shows like this. And it's just interesting, even the fact that Liam seems straight up like a great guy. Like, you'd always assume it's like, oh, the broken girl, and she has this like boyfriend who'll do these, dark things with her, and you're like, oh, he eventually goes too far. But like, he seems like just a really good dude, and I feel bad for him. And it's interesting to see, she even says, even when things are going good, I run away. And I think they did a really nice job with that. Some of the things that I thought like could have been handled maybe a little bit better is there was some stuff with Tyrone that I was like, this isn't as interesting as what's going on with Tandy. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of the stuff he had in episode 1 was really strong, but at the same time, a lot of the basketball stuff, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but it feels so ordinary, I guess, in comparison to what Tandy was going through and the intensity of her struggles. Now, obviously, I know that like the stuff when Tyrone was a little kid was amazing, spot on, including the flashback with the police chief. I thought that was great. And then with him directly trying to deal with this cop, I thought was great too. But the stuff specifically with like, oh, guys are hitting him at basketball, or, he's getting into fights and he's running late for basketball. I'm like, this is okay, but it's kind of just like, it's not on the same stakes level as stuff that Tandy was going through. And so I kept being like, I'd like to just get back to Tandy now. At the same time, they do add higher levels to it. They do add complexities to it with showing how his mom reacts and showing how important it is to his mom that he does do everything right. And also the struggles there where his teammates don't treat him well and stuff like that. I thought that was good too. So there's interesting complexities there. I love that they have this sort of underlying theme of religion going on there, with Tandy living in a church and with Tyrone going to a Christian school. His coach is a priest, all that stuff. I thought that's an interesting layer that you don't see a ton of, especially in superhero stuff. And I'm interested to see where they go with it. We have things like Tandy talking to Liam about, like, does he believe in God? And she remembers being lifted out. The question is, like, was that Tyrone teleporting to her? Was that something else? I'm a little unclear. I'm excited to find out about that. And I'm just excited to see more of these powers. And I liked how they sort of slowly sprinkled them throughout these episodes. It's, we only got a few very small key moments of the dagger, and we haven't really seen the cloak, in action as much as it's just like, now he's gone, now he's somewhere else. And I don't know if they'll do a little more flair with that as he starts to learn how to use his powers, and how they'll eventually, learn to work together and what they'll work together against. It seems like potentially the cop might be involved in Roxanne. We don't know. Is he just a separate thing? But that would certainly help them both have a common enemy. I honestly can't wait to see more of the show, to see where they take it. I'd like that, we have these young characters, but it's not just the normal high school cliches. It's something deeper. And there's just like a melancholy around the show while still being fun and entertaining. The tone is just not what I would have expected, and it feels very mature, and I really appreciate that. So let me know what you guys think about the show. What are you excited to see more of? What are some of your theories about the show? Do you agree with any of my criticisms? Do you have anything else that you thought could have been done better? Let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel, and please let me know if you want to see more reactions or reviews of this show going forward. I'm definitely going to keep watching, and I hope you do too.